Hello students, today we are going to have a look at Claire Boyko's exceptional story, The Book That Saved the Earth. The story is a science fiction comedy. The format of the story is very interesting. Most of it has been presented as a play shown through a projector. There's a narrative within the overarching or framing narrative. Framing story is a literary technique that connects one story to many stories. It appears at the beginning, middle, or end of a story. It holds a story within a story, quite like the hyperlink in the world of the internet. Let us now learn a little about the author before we start with the story. Claire Boyko is the author of The Cry-Baby Princess, Dr. Din's Disaster, The Leftover Dragon, and other compositions like Children's Plays for Creative Actors. The story that we shall discuss is set in the 25th century. A historian is speaking to an audience in the Museum of Ancient History at the Department of the 20th Century on the planet Earth. The historian says that the 20th century was often called the era of the book. In those days, there were books about everything, from anteaters to Zulus. Books illustrated, educated, punctuated, and even decorated. In fact, the book titled Mother Goose saved planet Earth from a Martian invasion in 2040. Through the historian's speech, the writer tries to remind us of the importance of books. Boyko also cleverly gives center stage to the book named Mother Goose. We have all heard of this classic work of children's literature. So, when someone tells us how the book actually saved our planet, we immediately sit up and take notice. We shall talk more about this book as we proceed with the story's plot. The historian next starts to describe how the book saved the Earth. The spotlight turns on the projector screen where Think Tank, the commander-in-chief, is standing beside Apprentice Noodle. In the first scene of the play, a sign on an easel reads, Mars Space Control. Think Tank asks Apprentice Noodle to start his communication with their manned space probe heading to Earth. The probe is heading to Earth as Think Tank wants to invade Earth before his lunchtime. We find Captain Omega standing at the center along with Lieutenant Iota, who is counting books in a bookcase. Sergeant Oop is on his right. Mars Space Control establishes contact with the crew of Probe 1. He is informed by the captain that the crew has arrived on planet Earth without disturbance. The author then presents a ridiculous situation before us. Captain Omega, Iota, and Noodle cannot recognize what books are and call them peculiar items. Sergeant Oop thinks they are hats and puts one book on his head. Omega asks Think Tank for his thoughts on the matter. Think Tank suggests that those items are sandwiches and urges Captain Oop to take a bite out of a book. Here's some food for thought for you. Mark the hilarious parallel between a sandwich and a book. Omega is wary of the book and is in no mood to eat it. He cleverly asks Sergeant Iota to taste it instead. Sergeant Iota cannot decline the request and is forced to take a bite. He, of course, finds the book uneatable. Think Tank declares that those are actually communication sandwiches. He orders the crew to listen to them. Iota and Omega hold a book to their ears and listen to them intently. They cannot hear a thing and stand confused. Noodle suggests Think Tank that the Earthlings did not listen to the sandwiches, but they opened them and watched them. Think Tank asks Captain Omega to look at a book and tell him what he observed. Omega picks up a very large volume of Mother Goose and sees pictures of humans in it. They swallow vitamin pills and try to decode the meaning of things they see in the book. If we closely observe the Martians' adventures with the books, we cannot help but notice how sly and dominating Think Tank's character is. He completely usurps Noodle's ideas and passes them off as his own.